This is the official "You Were Never Vegan to Begin With" shirt. And we're going to start from the top, okay? We're going to start with compassion. Because veganism was about compassion. Up until about 2018. But let's leave the golden era of veganism. Let's leave 2013 to 2018 and let's fast forward to the modern vegan.
Veganism's got nothing to do with compassion and love. This is where the misconception lies. Oh, veganism's about being a nice person, about being compassionate and loving. You can be an arsehole and be vegan, you can be compassionate and loving and be vegan, alright? Vegan is specifically to do with the abuse and cruelty that happens to animals and animal exploitation.
Man, what really happened that brought veganism to this point to where it's not even about compassion anymore? And what happens when the followers of veganism can no longer identify with where veganism has gone? Where do they go? What movement do they have to start? Veganism was about nonviolence, a more holistic approach towards things, but that's just not the case anymore. Not to these new vegans. Nowadays, if you need to be violent, then it's okay. It's acceptable.
Just basically, veganism is an ideology. If we have to fight people, like literally wound the flesh of other people to get this point across, then we should do that.
This one's the funniest because we actually thought that veganism was for the people when it's not. In fact, it's the opposite. This is to the detriment of humanity. This is to the inconvenience of humanity. This has nothing to do with people.
You believed that a plant-based diet was ideal for your health, and now that you don't believe that anymore, you've gone back to eating meat. Veganism has nothing to do with health or nutrition.
As a vegan, you need to realize that your well-being doesn't matter. In fact, you looking out for your own well-being is now considered as being selfish. That was not the case back in 2013. It's not about the people. The sooner you can realize that you don't matter in veganism, the better. At one point, we went into veganism believing that it was about the planet. We believed that it was really a core fundamental principle of what really motivated us. That was a driving factor for many people, was that they had sentiments for nature and they wanted to preserve it. But that's not the case anymore. It's changed. The whole game's changed.
But veganism is about the animals, not the environment. Like, sure, a vegan can say, oh yeah, it's better for the environment to be vegan, but that's not really what veganism is about. It's about the animals. That's the only thing. That's the definition. It's about the animals, not health, not the environment. That's it. So
this whole shirt is now doing it wrong. The standard of veganism, the definition of veganism, the views of veganism change over time. Listen.
Forks over knives.
Yeah.
So they were the three: health, environment, and animal cruelty.
Yeah.
So he gave me the three, and I guess that's the reason why originally I started off thinking that veganism was about either health, the environment, or animals, which now we know it's just the animals.
Yeah.
If we could re-edit this shirt and redo what veganism is today, it would look more like this now. Everything else is out the window. None of the other stuff matters anymore.
Crap test though!
If animals are not moral agents and you're justifying contributing to more deaths than omnivorism within the confines of what you have subjectively deemed to be necessary, then you're using justifications that are incomprehensible to animals, and therefore you're not behaving within their desire or within their will. Rather, you're behaving within your own. And when I say your own, I mean your own ego. Because, for instance, the crop death though animals are not more willing to die because you stamp a green V on the package. In fact, the crop death though, the only language that these animals can speak is suffering and pain. And for you to justify killing more animals based off of the ideas that you've created is not for the will of the animals. That's for your own will, because you're behaving within means that an animal can never even understand or never even want. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're not doing it for the animals. You're doing it for the subjective morals that you created and pushed onto the animals. The problem in veganism is that there's a standard of behavioralism and there's a standard of idealism. And ideologically, it's not necessarily that people are leaving veganism. If you take a closer look, you'll realize that veganism is leaving people.
Truth be known, veganism is an absolute bloodbath and torture train. The annual number of animals slaughtered and maimed in the name of grains, nuts, seeds, roots, tubers, fruits, and vegetables is absurdly gargantuan. Farmers routinely unleash an arsenal of deadly weaponry upon squirrels, rabbits, raccoon, mice, rats, possum, groundhogs, ground squirrels, moles, voles, deer, birds, turtles, frogs, bees, aphids, crickets, grasshoppers, worms, caterpillars, grubs, ants, and many, many more, who compete for the nuts, seeds, fruits, leaves, and tubers so sought after by the human herbivore population.